So we did. How are you today? All right, if it's okay with everybody, I would like to go ahead and call the meeting to order. Lisa, do you need a minute? You tell us.
It should be okay.
It should be okay? All right, I do not have my gavel. All right, I'm going to call this meeting to order, please. If you have not, would you please sign our guest register up there? And we always begin our meeting with pledge allegiance, if you join us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Thank you. If you have not done so, would you please silence your phone? Audience members, is everyone here with the applicant? Do we have any neighbors?
No, no neighbors.
No neighbors. I will not read our adopted policy then. You guys have all heard it, and it's really for the benefit of the people who are less familiar with our process. Please, would you call the roll?
Sure. Darcy Campbell.
Here.
Sarah Shields. Ray Armstrong. Angela Brown.
Here.
Jasper Dickerson.
Here.
Evan Matheny.
Here.
Keith Gosher.
Can you verify, please, that the meeting was advertised, Lisa?
Yeah, as a regular meeting for this year, and the hearing was tabled from an earlier date,
June 23rd.
June 23rd.
We do have some meeting minutes from our last meeting, which was held on June 28th. Could I have a motion to approve those meeting minutes?
I'll motion to approve BCC meeting minutes dated June 28, 2026.
One second. Mr. Dickerson?
Yes.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Matheny?
Yes.
Campbell?
Yes. So we do have an applicant here today. This is previously submitted as one of our two-step zoning processes, and so they're here to talk about the final development for that plan. BZC 24001 and BZC 24003. These were continued from June 23rd. I was not at the meeting that this was tabled from, so my understanding of reading the minutes was that you are sort of presenting both of those together, as well as the Grove. Am I wrong or am I misinterpreting?
We haven't figured out who's presenting. We want her to present what she.
Oh, you guys better decide. We don't bite.
Go ahead.
I'll make sure that I give your name and address.
Yes.
For go ahead and state
Sarah Sanders from Ferris Planning and Design. 4876 Cemetery Road, Hilliard. We are presenting these as both individual applications. They are separate developers. But we also kind of presented them together because it makes sense to kind of look at them as a whole thing. And if you want to pass out.
Thank you.
Thank you. Today we decided to do handouts instead of setting up our full apparatus, 'cause it's pretty simple. There's just a few outstanding things from the previous meeting that we wanted to address before asking for a vote. One of the things that zoning director had pointed out was we had missed getting the plans sealed by the licensed professionals, so we provided updated copies with those applicable license stamps. The traffic study and the utility bill cert letters were out of date, so we provided you with updated traffic study and updated utility bill cert letters. And then there was a question raised about the timing of construction and landscaping and how all of that was gonna work together. For the infrastructure package, that is intended to be built as a single phase, in which case everything would be, roads would be put in, sidewalks, and all of the landscaping and everything would be put in at the same time. Because that's that is correct, right?
The part that is not associated with individual developments, yes.
Right. What we put on the infrastructure package.
Correct.
Set up, okay. So we didn't provide a specific schedule for that infrastructure package. We did provide what we think is a reasonable outline for how the grove will be developed. So there's two builders, and so there's developer A, who will be putting in roads, putting in amenities and landscaping, and then two builders who will be putting in buildings. The idea for the schedule was that once everything's been approved, we have our engineering, our plans, the roads would go in. I don't want to say anything incorrect. So the site grading infrastructure roadway base will be put in by developer A initially. Then building and zoning permits would be requested, and the units would be constructed as they sell, basically. Individual building landscape, so each building will have its own landscape that will go in when the building is complete. The amenities such as shelter, playgrounds, multi-use pathways, sidewalks, and 50% buffers would be installed prior to final occupancy permits issued for the last building phase. Landscaping would, of course, be weather permitting, so it's potential that it would have to wait for a new season. So if the building is finished in January, we don't want to put landscaping in January, so it would wait until the appropriate. The landscaping on the site would be maintained by the builders until all construction is complete, at which point it goes to the HOA. And then the last thing that needed fixed was one of the roof pitches was at 512 and our text at 612, so they updated it to have a 612 pitch to keep in mind. And we're here for any questions, discussions. You may have answers.
Yeah, I've just got a couple things. I mean, overall plan, I like it. It looks like a nice product. I just want to clarify a couple things on the timing. So the infrastructure part in your roads and kind of the way it looks, your basins and things that are kind of community overall for that area. Yes. So from a landscaping perspective, I would expect that like the area around the oak tree and the community green would be part of this infrastructure.
Correct.
And since it's all one phase, it all comes at that time.
Correct.
That is correct.
And then on the Grove, it really only has two phases, and you would complete the amenities that are associated within each phase. So the one has like phase 2C, so you would have the drainage pond in the back. The other phase, which would be where the shelter and the playground is, that would come in as part of the finalizing the development of that area.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I just wanted to clarify and make sure I understood, because your timing, you said the timing was unclear. I think it cleared up, but I just wanted to make sure, because we're not talking about something where there's 12 phases and you might get 3 phases ahead and kind of lag back.
No.
It's not divided out that far, so it's not really going to be able to not get things done is where I'm trying to.
We can't start the Grove until the main infrastructure road's right there.
Yeah, you can't build anything there until the first part's done, so. Okay, yeah, that's all.
It's fairly simple, doing it.
Todd, would you like to identify yourself?
Oh. I'm Todd Ferris with Ferris Planning and Design, 4876 Cemetery Road.
Yeah, but again, I just wanted to bring out that clarification. Other than that, I like the plan, I like the display of what the products look like. I think we've all kind of agreed it's, you know, a nice product overall. I mean, waiting on the rest of it. So, a nice one, you have more of the phases out there too, so.
Yeah, EPCON has started, the engineering, we just received new bases like last week, so we're moving forward with the final development package on that. Still talking with potential users for the rest of the site. Again, the commercial could be the last year. We've had interest in the multifamily, just kind of fun, right?
So I have a question, and I'm sorry, I was not at the original presentation, and I was trying to read it on a computer rather than having hard copies, so I feel like I confused myself. So you're having two different builders. The infrastructure is, like you said, builder A, and then the buildings will be builder B. I'm not familiar with that kind of an approach. Is that common? Is that?
It's actually the developer is doing the whole infrastructure package, and also the roads and the utilities amenities for the growth.
Okay.
And then we have two builders for the buildings in the growth.
Okay.
So basically we have all of the infrastructure, just the growth portion is separated out.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, that's typical with like single-family subdivisions. Most of these builders don't necessarily want to become roadway builders.
Right.
So they'll just buy finished lots, and that's what's happening here.
Okay.
Even though they're not lots, it's.
I get you. I guess the syntax just tripped me up. I was not getting it. So.
That's.
And I think that within the Grove, your builders are, if I have it right, Fisher and K. Hovnanian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ask questions?
Sure, so, going off of what Darcy had just asked and you started to say, so the roads for the Grove are being put in by the developer. Are those happening at the same time, or are they doing all of the roads? The
What I
rest of the
understand is that they'll
roads
start
are
with
that.
the infrastructure package, and
Okay,
once that is in, then they will start the roads for the growth.
okay, so the 18 to 24 months is for the main portion, and then they'll be starting the Grove after that, so the Grove will, in a couple of years. Essentially, is that what that is?
They potentially could be doing earthwork while the infrastructure is happening, so that there
Okay.
might be some coinciding. We just can't start doing vertical construction because the fire department
Exactly, yeah.
won't allow anything
Yeah.
until we have.
I didn't know if they were gonna start the roads in the roadways in the Grove
They
during
might,
that 18 to 24 months.
yeah, they might,
Okay,
so.
and then the other thing that we had talked about, this is like, sorry. The other thing that we had talked about was, back in June, the roadway that went out onto 23, there was still, we didn't exactly know how that was gonna go yet. Has it
Still don't
been-
know?
Okay, all right. I mean, it's showing just straight, so I didn't know if we had any more information on it.
ODOT wants it north, county wants it
Yeah.
where we have it,
Yeah,
so we have Tobin water.
okay,
The good thing is we know one will happen. The
yeah,
question is,
which one?
which
Yeah.
one?
Okay,
And you need to go to your development line. They've, like you've outlined where it's gonna connect. That next part is for them to define.
Yeah,
and then
it
it
could
comes
curve
later.
up like an S or it could go straight.
yeah, okay.
It doesn't change your
No.
connector.
No,
Okay.
no.
So your PCD West region by others, that will stay exactly as it is, and where your road B comes out to the dotted line, it's gonna be right there. And
Yeah.
then they will have to, yeah, then they're gonna have to, whichever way, it's either gonna curve up here, or it's gonna go straight, right?
It's as simple as being here.
Yeah, so it's still gonna come into the same
Correct.
spot. Okay, so nothing will change there.
No.
Okay. All right, that was my only question.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Straightforward. You have us happy? Okay. Wow. That's fast. I understand you guys would like us to vote tonight on this stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
We can just delay it, yeah.
Oh.
Have you back a third?
We'll be back with EPCON and others.
She could present then, right? That's fine.
We're hoping.
Aw.
We tried to get her to present the easy side.
As I said, these guys are as nice as you're gonna get. We took her to the task floor last week, and they just chewed me up, and I think she's scared
So I
No,
take the
we have
liberty
things to
of
say.
writing you one. The question that I have on the table is that the zoning director has identified, he knows everybody, so I'm not gonna play long stuff. Has identified 2 conditions of approval, suggestions for the commission to consider. JP, I don't know if you want to elaborate on this.
Yeah,
Yes, please.
they're kind of administrative, I would say. First one, just anything that's requiring a zoning certificate, they'll provide the construction plans and get a zoning certificate for. Similarly, if the certificate of compliance is required after construction, they'll come and get that from the zoning department. Let's see, for the infrastructure one, condition number, let me see. Condition number 2 is saying basically the infrastructure phase will be completed before any building is occupied for the other phases. Let me see here, make sure. Okay, that basically summarizes the conditions.
So pleasure of the committee, it's ultimately up to you, you don't necessarily tell me, but, if you want to use a sample, then here's the, written out the meat of it, and then you can use,
Okay.
I just agree,
So,
right there.
Jacob, I want to clarify, because recommendation number 1, which I love, don't get me wrong. Prior to commencement, final construction plans shall be submitted to the zoning department for review for compliance. Is that not our normal procedure?
It would be the normal procedure, it's just kind of memorialize it and make sure
Okay, okay.
everyone knows it's part of the process.
I didn't even know we needed to do
Yeah.
that, because I kind of thought that was just how we conducted business, but, I mean, it's 100% reasonable, so.
You can include it as a condition if it is already part of the process, that it's extra, but not, the ship isn't gonna sink without the condition, I think is how I would put that. But it doesn't hurt anything to include it if you wanna be abundantly clear.
Okay, I'm just always wary of conditions, because, I don't know, they seem to get stuck in between random pages and people forget they exist, so.
So I would say on that one, again, the zoning director's affirmation that if we're adequately covered by the process that's already in the code, then it's entirely up to the movement, whether you wanna include that condition or not.
And then the second one, I definitely agree with, that nothing should get occupied before the infrastructure's done. Have you guys gotten to see these? Have you got any thoughts, opinions? Are they something that you're in agreement with? Do you have an objection?
Right, no objection.
Okay, then let's put them in. So, Evan.
Well, sure, but so just for my own, because I think we were discussing this last time, was the whole before and occupancy, and they were asking for just occupancy of the last building.
I saw that on the last one, but it sounded to me like that went away, that you're saying.
Well, that was for the amenities
Yeah.
in the grove.
Okay,
So there was a suggestion that those and all the landscaping had to be done before a single building could go up in the grove. So we're requesting that doesn't necessarily, they don't all need to be in, and partially that's for just easy getting around the site, but also with landscaping, just making sure that it's maintained. If it goes in before any building goes up, the chances of trees getting knocked over, plants getting run over is really, really high. So that's why we set up the schedule as, just because it makes the most sense in terms of building.
So isn't that slightly different from this one? Or
The infrastructure
that's
is its
different
own
from
animal.
us.
Oh, okay.
You've
Yeah.
got
That's
the two
what I
different,
wasn't
the infrastructure
understanding.
can happen, the park can
Got
happen, the little, whatever, the green, and then the ponds, the ponds have to be in before anything happens anyway. So having those done and landscaped prior to an occupancy of what happens in the grove shouldn't, quote unquote, shouldn't be an issue, because the roadways have to be drivable before anybody can occupy a building. Could we apply though for a zoning permit or a building permit prior to that? I would like to be able to do that, because like I said, it could be concurrent, where the infrastructure is done, the roadways are in, the fire department says, okay, you can build a building now. So we could start a building before the landscape's done with the infrastructure.
Oh, absolutely, it's just that you can't have the occupancy.
That's fine,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
That's what I thought, but I just
Yes.
want to clarify.
Yeah, just not the occupancy.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to
Yeah,
figure out.
yeah,
They're like slightly, okay.
Nuances of words always get it
Yeah.
right, so.
Can I borrow it for 1
Yep.
second?
I understand. He needs a hammer to get stuff done. I get it. And I don't mind that.
Sometime prior to the last building being completed.
It does, because I've seen other people.
So I'm saying, go
that
all
don't.
down and start over for the growth inside.
And they never have occupancy.
Does that help you?
I'll do it, I would just say aye, because it kind of.
We can work this out. And then.
So that the numbers match up.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna get here for a third meeting, so there you go. Just kidding.
So if something happened and phase 2 of the growth never completed, then that would mean that the playground and amenities wouldn't have to go in.
Correct, but the builders are gonna make them put it in. They've already told us that.
The builder what?
The builders already told them they want it in anyway, so. Well, I just don't want it to lag behind. The builders are gonna be, the building constructing people.
Yeah,
They're gonna tell the developer, we want those in. So he's got two people going against him and him telling Kieran to get that playground in. So he's got two people going after Kieran to get it done.
I
So
like
think
that,
we're
but do we
good.
have it written down?
I think we're good.
Yeah. I said, I like that, but do we have it written down that?
No, not on that, but we have it tied to the final occupancy. So that's your guys' hammer, so.
Final occupancy though on the first phase or the last phase?
The last building of each phase.
Yeah.
so with the last building of phase 1, that's when the playground's going to go in, or the
It would
last?
have to be in before they get that, before they get that
I just read
occupancy
this.
permit.
Okay.
For phase 1.
Correct.
Okay, so it's not phase 2. But it's
Each phase is independent, basically.
Phase,
okay,
phase 2 has its
where-
own stuff in there, it has its buffers associated with it and paths. Phase 1 has it too.
The playground is in phase 1 or phase 2?
It's in 2C, I believe. So the Grove is essentially phase 2.
Yeah.
You know, the roads and infrastructure going in, and then each builder is its own phase. So like half of the Grove is phase 2B, and I don't know.
I think it's phase 3C is where the playground is, so you wouldn't get occupancy for anything in that phase without the playground.
For final build.
So-
For final occupancy.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I guess 2C and 3C is what we named them. But they might be happening simultaneously in terms of
Yeah.
buildings going up. The amenities associated with each phase would need to be completed for that phase before that last building gets an occupancy permit in that phase. So like 3C would have the shelter, the playground, and some of the pathways. 2C has entry features, buffers, pond, and pathway around the pond.
Okay. I think I'm okay with that. Okay.
Any other thoughts?
No, I think as long as the board understands what that is approving, then there are no other comments on that.
Can I redo
Good.
both of these as conditions then?
So, are we approving the infrastructure first and then the grove second, or are we approving them together? So there's, are these two different, these are two different sets of recommendations
The recommendations though, isn't the first one the same?
construction.
And then did
Oh.
you,
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
the
the
second
one.
one.
So
is
two
different.
separate applications, so,
right, but she's asking about the conditions you proposed.
okay. Yeah, they're
So
slightly
this
different.
one is slightly different. Do you, are you suggesting or advocating for either? If we,
This one should be tied up in infrastructure. These two.
So is O1, oh, okay, so why don't we do the infrastructure first, and then we'll do the growth second. So, let's vote on the infrastructure first, which is 003.
so I wrote the motion that does it all together.
Oh.
Yeah. I can certainly rewrite it.
No, that's fine, so we'll just do it as,
What it says now is basically we're approving, if you wanna do this, we're approving the development plans in cases 001 and 003 with respect to infrastructure, and 001 with respect to the grove.
okay,
Et cetera, upon the following conditions. If the commission is interested in applying all three of the conditions, right, the ones that do, all three of the conditions, we can add all three. Or we can add less than three, or we can add
As long as they're adding to the right one.
none. Well,
No
I guess,
surprises.
Jacob, which of these, you say, and let's go back to that part. Which of these are part of the code already? Are they all part of the code already?
All of them except for condition number 2 on infrastructure. Condition number 2 on, the grove does mention the appendix A, that's included, basically memorializing the kind of the timeline on the amenity improvements.
I like that one.
I think that should stay.
Okay, so then I would suggest, based on what I'm hearing from your commission, is just read the conditions that we want to apply, and then just say, so condition 2, the infrastructure common improvements with respect to the infrastructure application, if you want to say it like that.
So I should really just read 2 on the infrastructure, is that what you're saying?
I think that's what you're saying, right?
Okay, that's what I thought.
And then if you want to say every 2 on the grove, and say with respect to the grove. Does that make sense?
Nope, but,
No, you want me to write it out?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I did like the reference to the appendix A, just because that does clarify a few things that we're concerned about. Jen, we're making you earn your keep.
It's all right.
Sorry.
I didn't come from sitting behind. Okay. So upon the following conditions. Do you care which one goes first? You want to care which one goes first? Okay. So that 1.
Is it Hannah? Can I get one of those packets? Do you have extra ones?
I think it should be.
Get it right.
We took a break.
Right.
And I discovered a lot of people.
Because they-
And we didn't, I mean, Sergeant's in here, but like, the house actually.
Yeah, it was at my place, it was like a solar flare.
Me too. It goes from being sunny to all of a sudden getting hot tornado. That was crazy.
Yeah, and my office doesn't have power, and they said I might get it by 5:30.
Okay. Yeah, I guess at Pataskala. Yeah, and everyone's doing a shutdown right now because they've had no power since yesterday.
And I heard Old Town East got hit, in the upper region, looks like,
Yeah,
somebody started.
yeah. Yeah, and I just have watching from the tornado is gonna keep going. It's gonna happen, so,
Anyway, things are good up here for me.
yeah, I know. We had just moved that trampoline to
Oh, no.
protected tree area into more of the open yard area because Ellie hasn't been using it because it's constantly filling up with stuff. And I'm sitting in the house, keep shaking today. I was like, oh my God, I hope that trampoline is raised.
Whereas, when we had a tornado up here, I had, Johnny came back.
Yeah.
There were like 4 trampolines, and
Oh,
it was
yeah.
like a trampoline orgy. They were all
Oh my gosh.
all together. So crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, you seem to get more money.
We're just because on Friday night is Ruben's birthday party, and we're taking him and 5 buddies to a Clippers game. And I was like, if you could go and have some orders.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, I cannot believe the kids. So right now, the stores are only taking to tomorrow. And they're just gonna get rain, but on Friday when we didn't rain, I'm just gonna really get out Sunday. But I kept saying,
It was really interesting. I was reading about how like those tornadoes like that form really quick. I guess like from that specific type of storm, something multi-linear convective storm. Like basically like those tornadoes can form and then disappear within 1 minute. So like a full radar sweep is like 4 minutes. So like they would never see that rotation on like radar. Yeah.
It's nasty. Ugh. Well, it was kind of scary. Our building was shaking.
Oh,
And even
yeah.
my parking lot, and right beside Riverside, our parking lot was full of trees. They're on generator in hospital.
Yep. My wife is at Children's just off of East Main, like their East Main locations, and she said like everywhere down there like had power, and everyone was just like, oh, what do we do? Her boss was like, where can this stay?
You're getting paid, you can't. And what does she do at Children's?
She is the nurse educator for the Partners for Kids program, so she trains all their nurses and like social workers that are doing like case management.
Okay. So both my daughters work down here.
are there nurses?
No, neither one's here. My, obviously neurosurgery major, so she was sort of
Oh,
autistic.
that's nice.
And then
No.
which is
She
a nightmare. Terrible. And
just
then the other one was for the foundation.
night shifts
She's the gregarious one.
until 1.
The stories are all.
I have a lot of friends too.
Just, it's my first one. Had
Crazy.
a baby first.
And you're could do peds. You get to it. Yeah.
I know that he's very
You guys are saying thank you. I can just go, okay. All right, I move to approve the final development plans presented in case numbers BZC 24001 and BZC 24003, Oak Park Infrastructure, BZC 24001, and Oak Park The Grove. Upon finding the final development plans are consistent with the approved preliminary development plans and are in compliance with the provisions and requirements of the Berlin Township zoning resolution, including but not limited to the provisions of Article 13 and 17, upon the following conditions. With respect to case number BZC 24001, condition 1, prior to occupancy or use of each building or premises, a certificate of compliance shall be obtained in accordance with Article 29 of the zoning resolution. Landscaping and common area amenities associated with each phase shall be completed in accordance with the approved final development plan, including Appendix A. Condition 2, with respect to the case number BZCs 24001 and 003 Oak Park Infrastructure, the infrastructure and common improvements included within this final development plan shall be completed prior to the occupancy of commercial or residential units associated with other final development plans within Oak Park. Certificates of compliance shall be obtained in accordance with Article 29 of the zoning resolution for any buildings, structures, premises, or other improvements for which a certificate of compliance is required.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Mr. Matheny,
Yes.
Ms. Brown,
Yes.
Mr. DeBeer,
Yes.
Ms. Kappa.
Yes. All right, it's passed. Thank you.
Are you happy? Your spouse is not. This is gonna be
Surprised.
Yeah, this is gonna be really cool. I'm excited for this.
Me too. Is there any way that, do you have access to a copy where we can get a copy of those conditions?
Is there, I can send them to you tomorrow.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, because I want to update our book so we have them too.
Yeah, I'll be in contact.
I mean, how you
Can you
want?
pass that down so we get it?
Here, actually, you can have this here because this one for.
They are taken straight off the staff report.
Oh, they are? Well, just send me what
We
you
can
find.
send you a
Okay,
copy
Since
of
there
that
was more
handwritten.
in the staff report.
Do we need this to be initial?
Yeah, we usually initial this.
Yeah, can I have it?
Doesn't hurt anything.
I don't know if that's necessary,
It's
but.
official.
So Karen did need to come.
What's that?
Karen did need to come. Karen?
Okay.
Kieran.
It's not Karen, Karen.
K-I-R-A-N.
Yeah. Kind of like Karen.
Something that's awesome, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Looking forward to what's next.
Yep.
Down so I can get a picture before. Oh, yeah, I forgot last time. It was good in the file.
Thank
There's
you.
a portion on the back
Details,
too.
details.
On the back too.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's long to write
Thorough language.
I know, you gotta have it. Now he knows, yeah.
So next on our agenda is discussion of possible amendments to the township zoning resolution. Last meeting we discussed that and had our presentation from is it financial development? I forget what the name of that agency is. Is it the right one? Okay. Anything new with that, or how are we progressing?
I don't have any updates
Okay.
that I I figured if you guys had any questions about the presentation last week, we could talk about that. Maybe we could talk about the formal process going forward, how exactly to initiate, kind of the zoning text amendment, make sure we're on the same page with that. Are you able to talk to me a little bit about that?
The process, of course, yeah, absolutely. So, you guys are familiar, many of you, because you have done this before. I think it's been a little bit, and you know, this before, so refresher is that the next step for the zoning amendment process would be for you, it can be you or the trustees, it's often easier and faster and efficient for it to be you than the trustees, would formally initiate, kick off the amendment process, which basically just starts the clock running for the public hearing that you then have to have. So that can be done by a simple motion. Once we have, if that night is tonight, if that night is your next meeting, we have the copy of the amendment document that we like, then it does not have to be perfect, as you all know. It just needs to be in a place where you're ready to sort of kick it off and get it going as far as the public hearings. We would, I probably have somewhere here, write you the motion to use. I would have it printed out, it would not need to be handwritten. It just says we're kicking it off and we're setting it for a hearing on whatever date you choose. And then you have between 20 and 40 days, that's the time, between 20 and 40, to hold that hearing from the date that you initiate. In that time, it needs to be sent to Delaware County Regional Planning, so they'll get a copy of it, they'll start looking at it. Then they make their recommendation to you. You should not move it out of the commission until you have that recommendation, but my recollection is that Delaware County has historically been very efficient with their recommendations, unlike other counties that I will not name here. So I mean, we can work that timing, but I think you probably be in good shape. You do not have to move your recommendation through in any, as you know, in any defined period of time. You can take multiple nights to hear the public hearing if you so choose. And if you've had enough and you've seen enough and you've had enough conversation about the amendment, you can determine to move forward. You could also have a single night of the public hearing, you move it on to the trustees, and then they would have to have a public hearing as well. So just a little bit of however long you want to talk about it, recognizing that you've already talked about it for quite some time. But it really at this point is it gets initiated, you hold a public hearing, you receive Delaware County Regional Planning's recommendation, you make a recommendation to the Board of Trustees, they hold a public hearing, they make a decision, we wait 30 days and then it's effective.
So I want to clarify one thing.
Absolutely.
Did I hear it right or did I scribble it in my head? Is that we would initiate and then we have to advertise a public hearing.
Yep.
Do we send it to RCP before the public hearing and wait for their reply before we have the public hearing, or is it the other way around?
You send it before. So you really send it, if you send it 5 days, within 5 days of initiating.
Okay.
In a perfect world, this is what my little snide remark about timing, in a perfect world, they're sort of running it through their staff review and commission review. Hopefully, perfect world, in the time it takes you to then have your public hearing, like you
I see.
so that by your hearing date, they have come back to you with their recommendations. Again, historically, in my experience, Delaware County has been very good about that, especially if you set your public hearing for roughly the 30-day mark on your monthly schedule.
Right.
But I don't want to commit for Scottsburg Regional Planning. Sometimes it takes shorter, sometimes it takes longer. But you should not make a decision, move it out of the commission until you have.
That makes sense. So if we were to say, let's initiate, and we wanted to do that tonight, Jacob, are we in a position to do that, or do we need more time?
I would say with probably the work that Jen and Pitt did, I would say, would you say that that is a draft that they could initiate on that? I guess what we've been talking about, I haven't finalized the draft yet. But I would say it probably isn't fair to initiate that until there's a draft in front of us.
Yeah, like you said, we have talked about it and talked about it, and I don't know what else we can talk about.
I would tend to agree. So if you say, if your direction to here tonight was, we're ready to get this moving, Jen, Jacob, whoever,
Right.
put a final draft together, take it, clean it up, right? Take out all the extra comments
Right,
for
right.
our stream of consciousness, analysis of the
Right.
margins, clean up the red lines, whatever. Then to me, that's all that really, I think there's maybe two, we talked about this. I think I still need to run there was a provision I was gonna add about hazmat and fire department review. That's pretty
Kind of boilerplate.
non-controversial, yeah. But other than that, I think the rest of it would just be packaging it up so that it's basically legible at this point, at least mine, rough drafts, where it sort of scribbles in red lines and not a whole lot of help to anyone.
Because RCP's been, hand-holding along the way. We don't really foresee any big obstacles from them. So, what do you guys think?
I mean, I don't know, in my head, it sounds like we could do it
And
next or whatever.
Yeah.
the draft as we have it now also includes the recommended additional uses from economic development.
That's correct, right?
I would say no.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
We talked about it, and I kind of have some draft.
Okay,
My thinking is we want legal to review it.
okay.
Gonna get that hopefully, or gonna get that.
But we can't, I think you're saying, I'm not trying, sorry to
Yeah,
interrupt.
go ahead.
I think you're saying the package, can it include,
Yes.
right? Sorry.
Yeah. That was our
We're
intent.
answering that technically there is a that share file, like that Microsoft, that likely technically does not include, because you're keeping, you've sort of worked on that separate from the big clunky share file, red line. But, so practically, technically, can they be combined? Absolutely. Is it the
I think
commission?
that's what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
There was a time we talked about, do we keep them separate, do we put
Right.
them together? I don't see any reason to keep them separate if you guys are ready to move it all
Yeah.
forward.
I think we'd like to.
Because otherwise otherwise we're gonna sit and we'll wait for a whole other set of changes to come through, just won't be passed. There's additional, use code, so, yeah.
So, yeah, if you guys want to move through to, prettying it up, making it readable, making sure all the references match their destination, I guess. Because we've had that before.
And
Doesn't
doesn't
refer to page 45 and there's no page 45.
Oh,
I think regional planning meets on the fourth Thursday of the month, so they have a deadline for when to submit it for their next meeting, so you might want to think about that too, depending, because if you submitted it, like, say at the next meeting, which would be obviously too late. Do you know what the deadline is for them?
It's the end of, so if we submitted it before the end of August, it would go on their last Thursday of September. The deadline is usually the month before, so their last Thursday of September. I've seen the deadline is the last week of August.
Is it? It used to be like a couple weeks, but it used to be. Do they have a firm deadline? 'Cause it used to be like 10 days or 2 weeks or something at some point, but I don't know what it is now. Just so you keep that in mind, so it might not.
Yeah,
If you have to get the recommendation back at have your public meeting, that's all kind of coordinated.
Yeah, but if there's a 1 month turnaround,
it may not work out, how
then
long
it's,
it may not, yeah.
Not for this meeting at least, but.
The state of government.
I mean, if you guys had it ready on the 25th for that meeting, and we could do the motion, then we could still get it over before the week, right?
I could transfer it the day after
Okay.
you do the motion.
So that they would be able to have it for the end of September, the end of September meeting, because then that's 1, 2, 3.
Yes, it's August
Wait,
31st.
is the third technically, the third is technically the first Thursday of the month, right, for September? It's a Thursday, so that's week 1, 2, 3, so the fourth, so it's the 24th that they have the meeting? Okay,
It says August 31st is the deadline, so he's correct.
okay, so the 24th is when they would have the.
Right, the review.
And then it usually takes like a week or less than a week to get the recommendation back. You have it by the second meeting in September. If you have to have that in hand for your,
So if we.
public hearing.
Yeah, if we initiated on the 25th. It appears that the deadline is August 31st
Yeah, it is.
for the September 24th regional plan.
Yeah, they used to be a little bit more loosey-goosey, but probably got more organized.
So when is your second September?
Second.
So we'll miss that, but we could hit the 6th, you do meeting the 6th?
Maybe the second Tuesday.
Oh, 2nd and 4th, okay, so 13.
But is that too long? Because
Yeah, you're gonna have to open it, so scratch everything I said about doing this one night. You're gonna have to at least open the hearing in that time, so whichever September meeting you wanna choose, so that you can say you held the,
we have to
And
actually
then
do
table.
and then, yeah, correct, right.
Table until you get the regional planning
4th, so
recommendation.
8th, the 8th is too soon. So you should hold the public hearing on the September 22nd, open the public hearing on September 22nd.
Okay.
Continue it to October, what do we say, 13th? And then you could, if you wanted to, if you're ready to, close it, decide on October 13th.
Because we would, by then, we should have regional.
Oh, yes, yeah.
So let me ask this question, because a lot of times these resolution changes do bring in an audience. And I feel kind of sensitive about saying, well, we're gonna have a meeting, but then we're gonna table it. Because I feel like, and I've been in that audience, right? I feel like you're yanking my chain. You told me we were gonna have this big discussion about an important change, and then you table it. And you know, we've seen it, 50 people will be at the first meeting, the next meeting it's 15.
You could handle that a couple of different ways.
That's more.
Do you, if you were in that, let me ask you a question first and then I'll tell you the ways. If you were in that position, either as an attendee or as your appointed official selves, would you rather hear from the people who wanted to come out that night? And then, but just make sure they understood for upfront. I mean, we could probably even put it in the notice if we wanted to a degree.
Yeah, I wondered if that was.
Yes, we could. I guess if it were me, I'm always a fan of, if a person came out tonight, let's go ahead and hear from them. Me personally, depends on application sometimes, but anyway, have them, but just communicate up front. We cannot move forward with the decision tonight because we need to receive regional planning recommendation, but we are still gonna hear from anyone who has come for the public hearing and wants to provide comment.
And are we allowed to, I mean, if we open it, or, I mean, assuming we have people that are what the amendment is.
Oh, yeah.
So we can discuss what it is,
Yes.
we can have them comment, we just can't make a motion.
You can do everything short of decide.
Okay.
Yes, that's right.
I'm not.
The only thing I can see happening is people say, well, what if the planning doesn't like it, or what if they make it so we don't like it, whatever their recommendation is, then we're gonna have a problem with that, how will we hear what their recommendations were?
Well, they'll come to the next night, the second night.
So that's.
Sure. Well, then they could decide. Again, we could probably, I never want to make promises to people in a public notice because things change and now, you're sort of, if I tell you, we're not moving forward, I promise you we're not moving forward, and then something changes that I couldn't foresee. Now we want to move forward, I'm like, well, dang it, now people aren't coming and now we can't move forward because we told them we weren't going to. So I stopped short of that, but I don't want to be promising like it's anticipated that. But you could say, here, you can put as much of this as you want in the notice. We anticipate not receiving regional planning recommendation that's required until after their September 24th meeting, which means we anticipate that there will be a second night of public hearing on this application on or about October 13th. I mean, you could say as much of that as you wanted to up front, and then they could choose whether to come.
See, even like with our BIO and BCO, how many meetings did we have? I mean, 20, I think. It was a lot. So, I mean, there's a process.
There's rules.
We get that, but I don't know how we
Yeah.
relay that with sensitivity to people that actually care about it.
Yeah, well, we can work on, like I said, we can work on, I mean, you know that the notice for a text amendment like you're doing is set by statute, what it has to include. One of the things that it can include is anything that you want it to include. So if you want some of that, I mean, I would use that power carefully.
Yeah,
But in the instance where you're suggesting, I'm just saying, that's how you would easily get that information in there. I don't have to fudge any lines, the statute says that. if we wanted to include a little bit of explanation about what we think the timeline will look like, so that we can
Is
decide.
that beginning the process before considering, I mean, it sort of sets up the thing that, you know, this isn't gonna happen in one night.
Yeah, we expect to have a second night due to not having regional
I
planning.
mean, we could end up having, you know, 10, I hope not. But, because our goal when we first started doing this was to have it done by the end of 2025, and we're moving in on the end of 2026. So I do not want to just shut it through, but I also don't want to put drag. It's been a while.
I have a question as far as our options. Is there a way to make it, let's say you package it all together as one zoning amendment, but maybe one provision happens to be catches issues, are you able to separate that out and push forward everything else? Or do you have to?
Yeah, so how you would do that if that happened is you would recommend, you being the commission, would recommend approval with modifications. And the modification is approved section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So it, almost like the motion tonight where we approve with
Except
this
for that,
modification,
yes.
you know, whether something comes up that we want to add,
Right,
which could happen,
Right.
or we want to take away, we
Yep.
can put that as a
that's how you use
modification.
that.
Okay.
Yep,
Well, and one of the things, you know, the VIO and VCO was a long time ago now, and I was pretty green, is that this still does go to the trustees. And, because I remember Tony saying, look, this doesn't have to be perfect, but we do need to move it along. So, yeah, I kind of keep that in the back of my mind too.
Right, and so
Eyes
then-
voices.
I'm sorry.
No, that's
Playing out that hypothetical, if there was a section that didn't work, then you're recommending approval, maybe not approve this piece. And then ultimately it's for the trustees to decide between it coming from you and their decision. Can they address the concerns with the section? Do they just, you know, pause it, basically take it out of this amendment and come back to it the following week and give it another look? All of those powers will be in their wheelhouse to decide how they want to be.
Because they also have the ability to add other stuff in.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Very good. Well, this is progress.
so we'd be targeting the motion next meeting
Next
to work, to make the timings all work.
Right.
Do we have anything on our agenda for that?
Yeah.
We're getting final development plans for the Ross Estates.
Okay,
They're supposed to be submitting this week.
okay.
I told them if they submit this week, we can get it on the agenda for the 25th.
Remind us which one is Ross Estates.
It's just north of Norris Acres. There's an elementary school there where the new roundabout just went in.
Is this the one that's not in Evans Farm, but it's almost in Evans Farm?
Not in Evans Farm, but it's.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But they use the same,
Yes.
use the same standards, I think.
Yes, as Evans Farms, yes, okay, all right.
Yeah.
God, those have been renamed so many times over there, that, yeah. Okay, but that's not a new element, well, Peach Blow, you're saying was a new elementary school. But the one right next to it is Arrowhead.
Yeah, I'm still getting familiar with all of it, but that
Okay.
development plan included the elementary school.
Yes, the Ross Estates,
Yeah.
but that's not the real name of it anymore. Is the real name of it Ross Estates?
The PRD development plan is Ross Estates.
I think it changed.
Everything else.
But yeah,
is, so.
it's, yes, Peach Blow Elementary is.
I had to mention
Yes.
Seafloor Crossing. Is that right?
I think they did change it. I don't even know. I don't remember.
Gosh dang it.
Ross
I
Estates
forgot.
seems like it's
I know.
old name.
I think
But
it is, but in our approval, that's what it is. So
Yeah,
I'm keeping it that way for administrative purposes.
Yeah,
so that-
okay.
That way it doesn't get
Yeah, I think it's
confusing.
called Peach Blow Crossing.
That's a different one. I think they're gonna call it Norris Acres. It's just gonna
Oh,
be.
that's Norris.
Oh, that's
That's
Norris.
Norris.
That's
Yeah.
Norris Acres.
Not Ross.
I'm so confused, I don't have a clue.
That's the
Yeah.
issue, is that there's a PRD called Norris Acres, and then they also wanna call this one Norris Acres, so. I'm saying just keep it Ross Estates for the purpose of this
Of this, right
review.
here.
Yeah.
okay.
I think I
Wow.
remember this.
Woo!
I'm
Yeah.
confused.
Okay.
So we will have a hearing, or that's anticipated, and we'll talk about
And that's a
Initiation.
final, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
So that is going to be, and that's for the 25th, you're saying? On the
Yeah.
25th, okay. I was like, oh no, are we saying that we're gonna hold a public meeting and do a final in the same meeting? Because that would be crazy.
No, just
Okay.
initiation.
I'm just gonna initiate. All right, good.
Cheshire Market will be coming your way at some point, and you saw the end of the last one, maybe. I don't know what their timeline will look like. I'm gonna talk to them tomorrow about where they're gonna go next from there.
Do we have anything else scheduled or on the horizon?
That's all of the two updates, yeah. At some point, Oak Park will be back with the Grove,
Great.
or not the Grove, sorry, they're the other part, the college's courtyard. I haven't heard any updates on that.
So I was wondering that, BZC 24-001 and 003, is 002 that one?
002 was dropped.
Okay, it's no longer,
001 is both the Grove and courtyard.
okay, I wondered what happened to.
I was looking back through the old minutes, and I don't know what 002 was, but they dropped it at some point, yeah.
Yeah, I think they combined it actually with something else. So, yeah.
Okay. All right, any other business or questions? We heard any movement on our zoning inspector person? Is there any movement there?
Yeah, there was on the agenda last night, to hire a new zoning inspector. I believe it got approved. I left before that part. But excited to get that filled. I think it'd be a good fit, so.
That would we have all our positions filled then?
Wait, isn't that what it is, the zoning inspector?
Dick was a zoning inspector.
It was?
He resigned. He's working with Delaware City as a code enforcement officer. So
Is that?
yeah, so sorry about
You're like,
that.
wait a minute.
We've already had interviews and we have the position filled.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So expected to start the 24th. I'm going on vacation, so he's starting out when I get back from vacation.
All right. That's fine, it's still.
That's good news.
Huh.
We moved,
I missed that.
You missed that? Oh my gosh, what happened fast?
we moved quickly on it, so. I forget who I give the updates to, so I apologize.
Relax, we're nosy. Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn? Everybody want to do that?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, we can go online. Yeah, Keith was there last week.
That's what Tara said.
Yeah. It was me and Keith and Ray.
And Raya.